Yep, I
Yeah,
see it. I see it.
I just hit go live, so yeah, it should be actually. If you're talking, you'll hear yourself on a delay, probably.
Okay. Well, I see it. Okay. What? I'm there on my phone, but I'm not sure. It says AOC Community Media live stream, but up next.
It should say. Let's see. It should. Bruce, another thing you could search for if you want to see the exact thing, if you're not seeing it, it's called Local News Live, April 1st, 2020.
That's on YouTube.
Yep. That's the exact title of the stream. It's Local News Live, April 1 ST, 2020.
Okay. Local News Live. What was the rest? Comma.
April 1st, April 1 ST.
Capital A.
Yep.
April 1. What's the rest?
ST as in April 1st, 2020.
Comma.
It should be all Local News Live, April 1st, 2020.
No, it didn't come up. I must have put it in wrong. It's giving me NBC News, ABC News.
Yeah, hang on. Let me search through my YouTube and see how it pulls up.
Okay. Oh, I think I got it. Maybe not. It says this video isn't moving. Neither should you. No, that's Uber.
Yeah, that's Uber. Yeah, I can see you live on there, so.
Okay, where do I go?
Sorry, what's that, Bruce?
Where? How can I find what you're looking at?
There's a couple reasons I wouldn't pull it up, Bruce. I know you want to see that you're live. I can guarantee you that you're live right now.
Okay.
I'm watching it.
Okay, that's cool.
But if you bring it up on your phone, it's just going to be on a delay. So we're going to hear you say, "This is Bruce," and then about half a second later, it's going to say, "This is Bruce again."
Okay, that's fine. As long as
just trust your control room operators. We got you. We'll get you live on the air. If there's any problem that you're reading to avoid, I'll make sure and call and get you on another way.
Okay, I have an engineer by my side.
That's right. You, in fact, have three of them. Me and Mandy and Will are all on standby. So
oh, wow. Man.
News reading talent.
Man, I feel blessed. I feel like I'm a VIP. I'm a VIP.
Keep in mind, all the YouTube audience, if they tuned in, are hearing us live right now. So
oh, they are.
You might even say, "Hey, everybody, thanks for bearing with us while we're setting this stuff up." And tune in to the live news. You can stay right here, or you can go to AOC 1 or 2 on your cable channels, or you can watch on AOCinc.org/watch, or you can listen, of course, on AOCinc.org/BS Radio.
Right, folks. This is Bruce back. I am back. This is my first broadcast back. And I've been doing this for some time for you folks. So for those who listen, usually on Wednesdays to the B&B show. Now that's something my engineer and I are going to talk about at some point. hopefully we'll be able to figure out how we can get the B&B show up next week. Is that a possibility? Could be. I have to talk to my engineer about it. We could do a share stream where Blair and I are sharing together and doing our B&B show. That could be a possibility, right?
I bet we can make that happen, Bruce.
Yeah. So tune in, folks. Stay tuned in. We're still, even though we're quarantined or isolated or self-isolated at our stay at home, we're still doing these newspaper readings. We're trying to bring you all the news that fits into 55 minutes. So bear with us. I'm on in about 3 minutes. I have to do something real quick. This is to my listeners and to my engineer. I will be right back. So stay put. I'll be right back.
Hey, Bruce, this is your engineer saying I'm going to hang up the phone and listen on Cypress Street Radio. Thank you for doing this one.
Gotcha, buddy.
I'll talk to you after the show.
Okay, man. Bye.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good morning. You are tuned in to the daily newspaper reading. My name is Bruce Cohen. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2020. And you haven't heard my voice for a while because of the situation with the pandemic, the coronavirus. So we're all stay at home, but we're still trying to bring you the daily news. And for the last couple of weeks, our wonderful staff at AOC has been manning the boards. But we have been able to set up a home studio for myself as a volunteer reader to give you the news today. So I am here this morning. Usually on Wednesdays, if you're an avid listener, you would be hearing from Blair and Bruce, the B&B show, Blair Savoie. But it's just going to be me this morning. Hopefully next week, through our wonderful engineers, including Matt and Will and others, we will be able to maybe bring you a at-home version of the B&B show. So I am going to start off, obviously, with coronavirus news. The COVID-19 coronavirus, here's the latest. The state sees the deadliest day, 54 new deaths confirmed. Number of beds at New Orleans Convention Center to double by Sam Carlin. Louisiana experienced the deadliest day yet from the new coronavirus, confirming 54 new deaths Tuesday as officials ramped up efforts to alleviate a looming run on hospitals. A White House task force predicted Tuesday that 100,000 to 240,000 people will die in the United States, even with mitigation efforts. The state is doubling the number of beds at a temporary hospital under construction at the Ernest and Memorial Convention Center in New Orleans, and continuing to beat the drum for more life-saving equipment. Governor John Bel Edwards said the state was adding 1,000 more beds to the convention center in response to worsening projections that the New Orleans area would run out of hospital beds soon, now as early as next Tuesday. And although the rest of Louisiana has more time, official plans to establish similar facilities in other parts of the states are as the number of cases continue to grow outside of the New Orleans metro area. Northwest Louisiana has seen a sharp rise in cases in recent days. East Baton Rouge has confirmed 228 cases and 12 deaths, and the number of confirmed cases in the Acadiana region jumped by 131 on Tuesday. As you can see from the numbers today, we still have a long way to go, Edwards said. This is still going to get worse before it gets better. We don't know how much more worse, but we do know we can, to some degree, control how much worse it gets. We know mitigation measures work. We know that the stay-at-home order works. Social distancing works. But these measures only work to the degree people comply with them. State officials are grappling with fast-changing number of cases, hospitalizations, and test results. But two key metrics for the coronavirus has alarmed health experts. Since Thursday, the number of coronavirus patients in hospitals have more than doubled, and the number of those needing ventilators have doubled as well. As of Tuesday, 1,355 coronavirus patients were hospitalized, and 438 were on ventilators, which are desperately needed in Louisiana. Louisiana also saw the largest number of new confirmed cases by far Tuesday, adding 1,212 known cases and bringing the total to 5,237. In all, at least 239 people have died from the virus in the state. However, that surge in cases may have been the result of a logjam in commercial testing, which in many places have taken a week to be confirmed, that broke Tuesday and reflected increases from several days earlier, officials said. Dr. Alex Bilio, Assistant Secretary at the state's Office of Public Health, said it's unlikely the state will see such a large increase Wednesday, and the governor indicated the state hopes to start seeing the effects of the stay-at-home order reflected in numbers in the coming days. The message to all of us: this is serious, Bilio said, and unfortunately, as we saw for another 54 individuals, this is deadly. A shipment of 150 ventilators, which President Donald Trump pledged to Louisiana this week, should arrive from a federal stockpile in the next day or two, Edwards said, adding it will help in the state's quest for more ventilators. Excuse me. But that will buy Louisiana only a day or two when it comes to projections that the New Orleans regions will run out of the equipment by Saturday, the governor said. Louisiana has ordered 14,000 ventilators, including 5,000 from the federal stockpile, and had just received 292 by Tuesday. Meanwhile, hospitals across the state are working to lend more ventilators and add intensive care units to prepare for a barrage of new coronavirus cases expected in the coming days and weeks. Baton Rouge General is reporting its mid-city campus, which will hold 84 beds initially. Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center CEO Scott Wester said the hospital system received an additional 25 ventilators from the state on Tuesday. The New Orleans region has emerged as one of the hardest hit places in the country from the coronavirus pandemic. Edwards and New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell in recent days have become regulars on national TV shows, spreading words of Louisiana's dire shortages of ventilators, beds, staff, and protective gear for medical workers. By Sunday, the state plans to have 1,000 beds at the convention center ready for coronavirus patients who become well enough to leave hospitals, freeing up bed space. The next 1,000 will be ready for April 20th, Edwards said, and the state is establishing a 250 patient unit across the state for people who officials suspect may have the coronavirus but whose test results haven't come back yet. The virus has been detected in 60 of the state's 64 parishes, but officials are repeatedly said it is present in all parts of the state. Make no mistake, Edwards said, there is no parish, there is no community in the state of Louisiana that is free of the virus and free of the disease of COVID-19. The governor this week is expanding his statewide stay-at-home order from April 13th until April 30th and has previously indicated restrictions could be placed well into May. The state has shuttered bars, casinos, gyms, and many other businesses, limited restaurants to drive-through, takeout, and delivery, closed K-12 schools, of which I am a teacher in the local school parish, so it hasn't been made official yet, but it's pretty sure that the school year is over for this year at least. And banned gatherings, and that little bit was personal, and banned gatherings are 10 or more. Louisiana is one of a host of states across the country that have issued similar directives aimed at flattening the curve or spreading out the number of cases over time to avoid an explosion of cases that could overwhelm hospitals. While state officials race to surge hospital capacity and urge residents to comply with the harsh restrictions, the state economy is being hammered, much like the rest of the country. The number of people filing unemployment claims, many laid off overnight when their employers shut down, have reached staggering levels. Oil prices have also collapsed in a price war and weakened demand from the coronavirus. The U.S. benchmark oil price, West Texas Intermediate, sank to around $20 a barrel on Monday, a price not seen in more than 2 decades, a development that could spell disaster to the industry here. Unfortunately, we have to continue with the coronavirus news, but I guarantee you that I will try to throw in some brighter news because there is some good stuff happening. So please hold on to that hope. But our next story comes from Claire Taylor. Cases jump 80% in Acadiana. Residents urged to stay at home. As the number of confirmed coronavirus cases in Lafayette Parish and Acadiana continue to rise, officials again are urging residents to refrain from unnecessary gatherings or outings to stores. Across Acadiana, cases increased Tuesday by 131 from a day earlier, an 80% jump. That's right, folks, an 80% jump. Statewide, an additional 1,202 confirmed cases were reported Tuesday, a 30% increase, for a total of 5,237. An additional 54 people in Louisiana died from COVID-19, bringing the total to 239, with 101 of the deaths occurring in Orleans Parish. A second death from COVID-19 was reported in Lafayette Parish on Monday. Jamie Angel, Chief Communications Officer with the Lafayette Consolidated Government, said at a news conference Tuesday afternoon. The death was not reported by the Louisiana Department of Health during its daily update at noon on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Lafayette Parish Sheriff Mark Garber reminded residents that they may be violating state laws if they congregate in violation of the governor's order. Dusson Police Chief Kip Judice, like the burgers, said with guidance from the sheriff, he will issue citations, will issue cease and desist orders, or will submit reports for warrants in response to gatherings of more than 10 people. I'm done with the warnings, Judy said on Tuesday. He told the Acadiana Advocate he handled 4 incidents over the weekend and one Monday when more than 10 people were gathered. One, he said, was a family gathered for the funeral of a resident with 7 siblings. Judy said he tried to reduce the number of people in attendance but did not shut it down. Another was a yard sale. When he arrived, Judy said there were about 25 cars at the home. He gave them 15 minutes to remove the items and shut down the sale, which they did. Another was a baby shower with more than 10 people, he said. On Sunday and again Monday, Judy said the same man in his 30s was having a birthday party at his home with 30 to 35 people attending. We can't keep letting them go, he said. They're not complying. Lafayette Parish Mayor President Josh Guillory said he understands the restrictions seems to go against civil liberties, but he said the first line of defense against the spread of the virus starts with the individual. Judy said one person violating the order in Dusson said he and his friends know and accept the risk to themselves. The problem, Judy said, is they may carry the virus to someone else, even to police officers having to break up parties. Lafayette Parish saw an increase of 36 cases on Tuesday, bringing its total to 118 since the first case was reported in the parish on March 18th. Acadia Parish, which had only 11 confirmed cases and 1 death on Monday, reported an additional 28 confirmed cases on Tuesday. Our first PSA of the morning reflects the coronavirus. For the latest COVID-19 updates and information, please visit www.311, that's www.311lafayette.services. Call centers with volunteers and medical professionals are active 24/7 to answer your questions about COVID-19 and determine if you need to get screened. You may also call 311 and press option 2 if you are a business owner, employee, or looking for a job to get information about applying for small business recovery loans, apply for unemployment benefits, and related programs. Stop the spread, call instead. That's your mantra for the day. Stop the spread, call instead. Hashtag stop the spread. Again, 311. If you have any indication whatsoever that you may be suffering from the virus or know of somebody who's suffering, pass on the information or go to www.311lafayette.services. All right, getting back to the news. Some downtown Lafayette restaurants looking for ways to stay open. More than half have closed temporarily, by Adam Daigle, Acadiana business editor. So there's a little bit of lighter news mixed in with the coronavirus news. Greg and Lori Johnson Walls went to work quickly once their restaurant, Johnson's Boucherie, and others in the state were mandated to offer only takeout. You can tell I'm not from this area originally, but I've been here a while enough to know that Johnson's Boucherie is pronounced in that order, and I've eaten there. It's a great place. The restaurant's website is improved. It's back on the Waiter app. Customers can pick up their food curbside. Breakfast is now served only on Saturdays, and the restaurant plans to begin taking orders online. We've been meaning to revamp our website anyways, Greg Walls said. It helped the Wallaces stay open during the era of the novel coronavirus, which has caused more than half of about the 40 restaurants in downtown Lafayette to temporarily close in recent weeks. Restaurants in Louisiana and across the country have closed or reduced staff in an effort to survive. At Johnson's, the owners have not reduced staff. That's probably our biggest challenge right now, Greg Wall said, and are trying to survive this economic slowdown at the historic restaurant, which still uses its boudin recipe from the original Johnson's Grocery, which opened in 1937 in Eunice by R. Nestor Johnson, Lori Wall's grandfather. We've been graced with a lot of free press, Greg Wall said. A lot of our business is tourism. That has pretty much come to a halt. A lot of our regulars are still coming. A lot of people have committed to buy local. We're just overwhelmed with how the community comes together to support local businesses. Excuse me. It means a lot to us. Restaurants nationwide have struggled in recent weeks as states have issued stay-in-place orders, followed by mandates for takeout only and social distancing. Eater.com, that's EATER.com, a restaurant and food news website, reported a number of signs of trouble for the industry as the coronavirus spread across the country. The number of online reservations dropped by 40%, average daily downloads for the Walmart, Target, and Instacart apps doubled, and restaurant revenue dropped over 30%. How many more restaurants close in Lafayette will be up to the local consumers, said Anita Begno, President and CEO of the Downtown Development Authority, which is keeping a list on its website of restaurants and other businesses that are still open downtown. The agency also created a toot and scoot system for curbside service to help restaurants get through the period. Toot and scoot. That's funny. Beep, beep, scoot, bye-bye. If we want our small businesses and our restaurants to survive and thrive during these uncertain times and keep people employed, the community has to support them, Bagnall said. If we can have clear messaging, like takeout once per week from every family in the community that had the means to do so, that in an effort to support the restaurant industry that's been hit hard, that would be huge. And on a personal note, my wife and I last night ordered out from the Noodle House, Maison Noodle House on Johnson Street. Big shout out to them for sticking in there and preparing a fantastic pad thai meal for the two of us. At the Black Cafe, owner Trey Ware will stay open at least this week on location at the bottom floor of the Uptown LUS apartment, for which he's operated for 6 years, working alongside his 5 employees while his wife Jody handles the books. Ware said they will take it 1 week at a time. Gift cards, he noted, have become popular. It's just a lot of social media stuff, and why not keeping us on everyone's minds, he said. We have a small but loyal customer base. A lot of them on social media are the actual customers themselves. My wife and I are going on a week-by-week basis. We'll see how this week goes. If it doesn't look that great, we'll have to shut it down. Ware's Cafe, like others in the area, have only a handful of employees, but as Begnos noted, together these businesses, 40 restaurants and 16 bars and nightclubs, would be equivalent to a mid-sized company if each employed just 10 people. I am reminding people that a lot of Lafayette and Acadiana's economy's backbone is small business, Begnos said. The food industry, the hospitality industry, and the tourism industry are such huge drivers. That's a huge part of our economy. We know that our restaurant industry and hospitality industry has taken a hit because of this. Now it's our turn to support them. Okay, so in continuing in the restaurant front, I have a couple stories to read to you. First one comes from the living section in today's version of the Acadiana Advocate. It's a column entitled "Where Acadiana Eats: Family-Sized Meal Specials to Try Sheltering in Place" by Megan Wyatt. The coronavirus crisis may have closed restaurants, dining rooms, but you can still order many of your favorite dishes for takeout or delivery. We'll be scoping out the spots and sharing what we're craving at local eateries until restaurants are fully open and operating again. Here are a few family meal options that we are suggesting. All right? Let's see. Okay. So, first one up, Social Southern Table and Bar. That's at 3901 Johnson Street. The number there is 456-3274. And these are family meal options, folks. Family meal options include choice of smoked sliced brisket, meatloaf, smoked fried chicken, which I have had, it's really good, or roasted chicken served with chipotle sweet potato mash, house salad, and sweet potato biscuits. You can get all that for $45 for a family of 4 or $65 for a family of 6. The restaurant has additional sides and drinks that can be added to the meal along with half-off bottles of wine. Now, Imanelli's, which is basically right next door to Social Southern Table and Bar at 4017 Johnson Street. Their number, again, 337-989-9291. Their family meal options change each day. Tuesday, hamburger steak with sauteed onions, brown gravy over mashed potatoes with dinner rolls. For today, Wednesday, blackened fish with roasted pepper cheddar sauce with rice pilaf, grilled vegetables, and dinner rolls. Sounds definitely yummy. Thursday, praline chicken. Chicken's my fave. With baked mac and cheese, green salad, and dinner rolls. Friday, shrimp and egg stew with potato salad and garlic French bread. Saturday, country fried steak with white gravy, mashed potatoes, corn mak choo, and dinner rolls. Meals are $40 and feed about 4 people. Beer or wine can be added to an order. And then finally, La Pizzeria at 3809 Ambassador Cafe Parkway. Their number 337-989-4121. Family meal options include spaghetti and meatballs with garlic bread and salad for $38. chicken and sausage jambalaya with garlic bread and salad for $35. Eggplant parmesan with cavatappi pasta and marinara with salad and garlic bread for $35. And my favorite, grilled chicken pesto pasta salad with caramelized bread for $37. And when I've eaten there, I always order that, and it's fantastic. And finally, shrimp Alfredo with garlic bread and salad for $40. So, some of the restaurants in town are providing these services to us. So please, if you can, and I know these are hard times financially for a lot of people, but if you can, please sponsor your local restaurants if you're up for takeout. Okay. Continuing with our next story by Mark Ballard and Will Santel. Session features social distancing. The legislature meets briefly for required businesses. The Louisiana legislature convened for about an hour Tuesday to move along new legislation and set up for contingency plans should the session, as most expect, remain in recess through April. The Louisiana Senate convened at the same time as the State House. Legislatures suspended their session, which began March 9th, 2 weeks ago, as part of the state effort to staunch the community spread of the novel coronavirus. But the Constitution requires new bills, many of which were filed to address recovery from the shutdowns caused by COVID-19, to be read into the record by a certain date if they are considered later in the legislative session. Rather than the usual intimate conversations, which involve arms around shoulders and close talks, sometimes whispering, lawmakers kept their distance and spoke up. Many wore masks and gloves. Legislators also practiced social distancing by sitting in every other seat, which required the House to start with a voice roll call rather than usual practice of taking attendance by hitting their voting buttons at their desk. 58 of the 105 representatives were in attendance. The House needs 53 members of the chamber to conduct business. House Speaker Clay Schnecksnyder, a Republican from Gonzales, said he told legislators that if they didn't feel comfortable, they didn't have to attend Tuesday's session. Only 2 representatives from the New Orleans area, Representatives Jason Hughes, Democrat, and Joseph Stagny from Kenner, came. 21 of the 39 state senators attended. Only one, Senator Kirk Talbert, a Republican from River Ridge, was from the New Orleans area. Upon finishing their paperwork, Schnecksnyder recognized a motion to adjourn until a time decided by Senate President Page Cortez, Republican out of Lafayette, and himself. The idea is to keep it open-ended until we see a clearer path to come back, Schnecksnyder said. I hope we can come back in May. Governor John Bel Edwards said Monday that he would likely extend his April 13th order to shelter in place and limit gatherings to 10 people until the end of the month. But the governor has not yet issued that directive officially. Edwards has repeatedly said that early April is a time when New Orleans area hospitals could be in dire straits if the rise in virus cases continues. Cortez said the key criteria for when the legislature restarts will be hospitals and whether or not they are beyond the point where they think they are going to be overrun by coronavirus patients. I don't foresee us coming in before April 30th, absent a miraculous turn of events, he said. It is unclear whether Senate committees will meet before the legislature convenes again, Cortez said. The Senate is generally prohibited from using teleconferencing or Skype to conduct its business. No one ever anticipated this kind of pandemic, he said. Under the state constitution, the legislature can convene 60 days during an 85-day calendar period. The session is mandated to adjourn by 6 p.m. on June 1st. If the legislature doesn't return to work until May 1st, the lawmakers theoretically can work every day for 31 days. In a pinch, they could call a special session because the legislature has until June 30th to pass a budget. But before leaving on June 1st, legislatures are supposed to approve operating, capital outlay, judiciary, and other budgets, about a dozen bills altogether. Otherwise, all state government and the construction projects will come to a screeching halt at midnight, July 1st. Schneckseiter said he plans for the time being to consider all the legislation filed rather than prune the non-budget measures and focus only on the money bills. We'll work day and night to get the bills out here, he said. I hope we can come in May and get it done. House Appropriations Committee Chairman Jerome Zerenge, the Homer Republican responsible for the legislation that will become the state budget, said he and his fiscal staff are weighing alternatives, but he's still optimistic that a budget can be passed in time. Big hurdle right now, he said, is sorting out how the federal money being spent to the state can be used. All the federal dollars will come with stipulations, directives, and requirements that its money can be matched by the state in some amount. Those requirements will require budget architects to rearrange spending plans, Zerenge said. The next big step for the Revenue Estimating Conference is to determine how much the legislators can spend. Calculations that were valid 3 weeks ago have gone out the windows as the price of oil plummeted, casinos closed, and sales tax revenue took a deep dive because so many retailers have been unable to do business during the pandemic. Initially, the Revenue Estimating Conference was planning to meet April 8th. Zerenge said it may keep that date, but only as an informational update. The panel likely will wait until closer to May to get a better estimate and officially recognize the amount lawmakers can spend, he added. Well, it's that time of the broadcast when I will give you the zodiac and the day in history. But before we do that, let me give you one more very important PSA. Lunches will be served starting at 11 a.m. today at the RoboShow Center, located at 1919 Eras Landry Road. The RoboShow Recreation Center is open for to-go lunches. Only a limited number of lunches will be available for pickup individuals who find themselves suddenly and at no fault of their own, unemployed or underemployed due to the COVID crisis. 200 box lunches were distributed yesterday within 45 minutes at the RoboShow Center. Lunch will be served again starting at 11 a.m. Lunches will be served from Walk-On's Sports Bistro, compliments of Drew Brees and the Brees Dream Foundation. These lunches are on a first-come, first-served basis. Thanks to the Lafayette Fire Department for helping to distribute meals and Lafayette Police Department for helping with traffic and security. Again, the RoboShow Recreation Center is located in 1919 Eras Landry Road. And so today they will be handing out lunches starting at 11 a.m. for those who are in need. Okay, so turning to, let's do today in history. Today is Wednesday, April 1st. It's the 92nd day of 2020. There are 274 days left in the year. Today's highlight in history: on April 1st, 1976, Apple Computer was founded by Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne. On this date, and I am broadcasting through a Mac computer. Yay! On this date, in 1789, the U.S. House of Representatives held its first full meeting in New York. Frederick Muhlenberg of Pennsylvania was elected the first House Speaker. In 1945, American forces launched amphibious invasion of Okinawa during World War II. U.S. forces succeeded in capturing the Japanese island on June 22nd. In 1954, the U.S. Air Force Academy was established by President Dwight D. Eisenhower. In 1963, New York City's daily newspapers resumed publishing after settlement was reached in a 114-day strike. The daytime drama General Hospital premiered on ABC TV on this day. In 1970, President Richard Nixon signed a measure banning cigarette advertising on radio and television to take effect after January 1st, 1971. In 1972, the first Major League Baseball players' strike began. It lasted 12 days. In 1984, unfortunately, very unfortunately, Marvin Gaye was shot to death by his father, Marvin Gaye Sr., in Los Angeles, the day before the recording star's 45th birthday. The elder Gaye pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter and received probation. In 1987, in his first speech on the AIDS epidemic, President Ronald Reagan told doctors in Philadelphia, we've declared AIDS public health enemy number one. In 1992, the National Hockey League Players Association went on its first strike, which lasted 10 days. In 2003, American troops entered a hospital in Nasser, Iraq, and rescued Army PFC Jessica Lynch, who had been held prisoner since her unit was ambushed on March 23rd. And that PFC private first class. 10 years ago, Roman Catholic cardinals across Europe used their Holy Thursday sermons to defend Pope Benedict the 16th from accusations he played in a role in covering up sex abuse scandals. 5 years ago, Senator Bob Menendez, Democrat from New Jersey, was charged with accepting nearly $1 million worth of gifts and travel from a longtime friend in exchange for a stream of political favors on the donor's behalf. A defiant Menendez, maintaining his innocence, declared he was not going anywhere. The Justice Department dropped charges after a trial ended in a hung jury. 11 former Atlanta public school educators were convicted of racketeering for their role in a cheating scheme to inflate students' scores on standardized exams. California Governor Jerry Brown ordered officials to impose statewide mandatory water restrictions for the first time in history. Cynthia Lennon, the first wife of John Lennon, died at her home in Spain. She was 75. That was 5 years ago today. 1 year ago, Britain's parliament rejected 4 alternatives to the government's European Union divorce deal, options that would have softened or even halted the departure. Votes left the UK with 12 days to come up with a new plan or crash out of the bloc in chaos. A second woman, and former Vice President Joe Biden, had acted inappropriately, touching her face with both hands and rubbing noses with her in 2009. And just an update in Britain, Brexit. They never did join the European Union. And recently, in the last couple of days, Boris Johnson, who is currently the Prime Minister of England, was tested positive with COVID-19. Today's birthdays: actress Jane Powell is 91. Baseball Hall of Famer Phil Niekro is 81. Actress Ali McGraw is 81. Wow. Rhythm and blues singer Rudolph Isley from the Isley Brothers. Twist and Shout was their big hit, which the Beatles made their big hit. Reggae singer Jimmy Cliff is 72, one of my faves. Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito is 70. Actress Annette O'Teal is 68. Rock musician Billy Currie from Ultravox is 70. Movie director Barry Sonnenfeld is 67. Singer Susan Boyle, you remember from England, England's Got Talent, is 59. Country singer Woody Lee is 52. Rapper actor Method Man is 49. Movie directors Albert and Alan Hughes, both are 48. They must be twins. Political commentator Rachel Maddow is 47. Actor Sam Huntington is 38. And actor Asa Butterfield is 23. Looking at today's zodiac, if you're a Scorpio, October 24th through November 22nd, pursuing projects that stimulate your mind and challenge your imagination will bring you the most satisfaction. Don't limit what you can do by the company you keep. Sagittarius, November 23rd through December 21st. Get involved in challenging activities. You will learn a lot about yourself in competitive situations. Everyone you encounter will admire your honesty and fair play, and that sign includes my wife's birthday. Capricorn is my first son's birthday. Don't let your emotions interfere with your professional integrity. Someone you care about may let you down or criticize the way you do things. Take charge of your happiness and please yourself. Aquarius, January 20th through Feb 19. Follow your heart and do what you enjoy most. Your determination and discipline will bring good results and make you feel good about who you are and what you do. Pisces, February 20th through March 20th. Step up and prepare to take control. You've got what it takes to turn your ideas into reality. Follow your heart in both personal and professional matters. Aries, March 21st through April 19th. Don't take criticism to heart. Learn from the experience someone offers you. Don't let your emotions take the reins. Being patient will pay off and will lead to better options. Taurus, April 20th through May 20th. The Bulls. Don't let uncertainty lead to hesitation and regret. Let your intuition take charge and trust your ability to take charge of business. Gemini, May 21st to June 20th. My son's birthday, my younger son's birthday. Events that focus on information, knowledge, and technology will be beneficial. Check your bank balance before you spend money on unnecessary items. Don't fall victim to a polished sales pitch. Cancer, June 21st through July 22nd. Take the path that excites you, let your mind wander, and enjoy life. A change someone makes will interest you. Find out more and consider how you can benefit from doing something similar. Leo, July 23rd through August 22nd. Travel will cost more than anticipated. The people you encounter along the way will be eager to depart you from your money. Caution coupled with penny pitching will pay off. Virgos, expand your interest. That's August 23rd through September 22nd. Expand your interests. This is me, my birthday month, birthday sign. Friendships and knowledge. Attend functions offering information that help you get ahead and connect you to people who can further your interests. And Libras. Simple plans will be less expensive. If you overdo it, you will end up backtracking. Don't overreact if met with opposition. Channel your energy into something that counts. The horoscope, as usual, is an entertainment feature not based on scientific fact. Okay? All right. Looking back at the news. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Clusters identified at 12 more Louisiana senior care facilities by Feynman A. Roberts III. The novel coronavirus continues to impact the state's senior care centers and nursing homes, with state officials reporting 40 clusters at such facilities statewide on Tuesday, an increase of 12 from the day before and 5 times the number reported on Friday. New clusters were identified in some of the state's hard-hit urban areas, such as New Orleans, Shreveport, and Baton Rouge, but the region with the biggest increase was on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, where 5 new clusters were named. The increase in clusters have grown even as nursing homes have stepped up their efforts to prevent the spread of the virus, to which the elderly and infirm are especially susceptible. Tuesday, Notre Dame Health System, a ministry of the Archdiocese of New Orleans, opened an isolation unit adjacent to the Weinhofen Health Care Center in Marrero solely to treat residents with the virus or showing symptoms. The 8-bed unit, which can be expanded to 10 beds, will have a dedicated staff attached to it, according to a Monday news release. Any resident in Notre Dame's 3 residential facilities, Weinhoven, Chateau de Notre Dame of Our Lady of Wisdom, who test positive for the virus or show symptoms will be sent to the unit for care until they can either require hospital care or are cleared to return. Chateau de Notre Dame was one of the first clusters publicly named by the state, which defines a cluster as 2 or more cases that appear to be related. Tuesday, another archdiocese property, John Birchman's Manor in New Orleans, was identified as a cluster. John Birchman's is part of Christopher Homes, a group of residences for seniors and the disabled. Last week, officials with Christopher Homes and said several residents and workers had shown symptoms and had been tested. In addition to John Birchman's Manor, the new clusters were identified at St. Francis Villa in River Ridge, Flannery Oaks in Baton Rouge, Ormond Nursing Home and Care Center in Destrehan, Brookdale Shreveport Assisted Living in Shreveport, Vivian Healthcare Center in Vivian, Belle Maison in Hammond, Jefferson Healthcare, Greenbrier Community Care in Slidell, Pontchartrain Healthcare in Mandeville, and Forest Manor in St. Anthony's Gardens, both in Covington. Since early March, nursing homes and long-term facilities have implemented increasingly strict restrictions on visitors and residents in an effort to prevent the spread of the virus and avoid a repeat of Lambeth House in New Orleans, where more than 50 were infected and more than a dozen people had died. But there are signs of hopes at Lambeth, a spokesman said on Tuesday. Over the past 5 days, there have been no new tests or requests for tests at any of Lambeth's units, Greg Berman said. A positive sign of progress, Berman said. That is positive. All right, next up, Baton Rouge lawmaker hospitalized with virus by Will Santel. State Representative Ted James, a Baton Rouge Democrat and one of the most influential voices in the state legislature delegation, said he was tested positive with the coronavirus and is also hospitalized with pneumonia. A second House member, State Representative Rodney Lyons, Democrat out of Harvey, said he was hospitalized briefly with coronavirus-like symptoms but never tested positive for the virus. No state senator has been reported as having tested positive, said Senate President Paige Cortez, Republican from Lafayette. In a statement Monday night, James said he became symptomatic on March 22nd and began self-isolation. By Monday morning, I began having shortness of breath with a high fever and cough, he wrote. I was tested and received my results back on Tuesday, March 26th, showing that I was positive for COVID-19, he said in a reference to the illness caused by the virus. By Saturday, my fever broke, but I still had such difficulty breathing, I had to be admitted to the hospital Sunday, March 29th, James said. I'm now battling pneumonia and COVID-19, he said. I hope my constituents and the people of Louisiana look at my experience and understand that this virus does not know age, race, health, or socioeconomic status, the Democrat wrote. Most people think there's nothing we can do to combat COVID, but it's simply not true, he added. I implore everyone to stay home, stay safe, and save lives, James said. I know God is in control, and I look forward to beating this and returning to work soon. James, 37, is an attorney, chairman of the influential House Administration of Criminal Justice Committee, and one of the most affable members of the legislature. He is also vice chairman of the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus. Lyons said he became ill about 16 days ago and sought treatment. He then went into quarantine, which he has just emerged. Lyons is on the House Appropriations Committee as well as the House Executive Committee. His District 87 includes parts of Woodmere, Harvey, and Marrero. I'm fine, Lyons told the Advocate on Tuesday. The legislature met on Tuesday after a temporary adjournment sparked by the coronavirus. Lawmakers initially planned to extend the temporary break until April 13th, but instead opted to leave open when it will resume business because of uncertainties surrounding the virus. And in more coronavirus updates, The latest, no one was prepared for this. Crush of applicants delays Louisiana jobless claims by Tyler Bridges. The hordes of people trying to apply for jobless benefits in Louisiana continue to encounter long delays and the inability to get through online or over the phone. Many independent contractors and self-employed workers newly apply for unemployment insurance because of the federal stimulus bill passed last week say they can't get answers to their questions. The stimulus bill is providing $600 per week through July 31st to both salaried and independent workers who are jobless, an amount that dwarfs the maximum state payment of $247 per week, but they have to complete an application successfully for unemployment benefits to the Louisiana Workforce Commission to be eligible for the federal aid. Ava Dijon, the Commission Secretary, acknowledged the ongoing problems faced by applicants, saying the flood of jobless people was beyond anyone's expectations. No one was prepared for this, Dijon said in an interview. The systems were not built for this amount of capacity because this was the unthinkable. The Commission has continued to add capacity for a website and phone system that has been overwhelmed by people who lost their jobs and the economic fallout from the coronavirus. AT&T has worked with the State Office of Technology to expand phone capacity, said Kelly Starling, a company spokeswoman. Meanwhile, the Workforce Commission's internet provider has quadrupled service, Dijon said. Asked if the problem has gotten better or worse over the past week, Dijon said only we're constantly looking at ways to improve our process while grappling with the lack of capacity. Agency officials have moved slowly in providing extension questions and answers easily visible on the website. That's laworks.net. laworks.net. For newly laid off workers are posting a step-by-step video tutorial helping them through the process. Dijon said she and other agency officials are doing everything they can to get out the word and are working on weekends to process claims faster. Two sets of numbers show the magnitude of the agency is up against. The Louisiana Workforce Commission normally receives about 1,500 unemployment new claims per week. The agency reports it has been receiving about 10,000 new claims per day over the past 2 weeks. Brent Axelworth was laid off as a bartender in New Orleans on March 15th and followed the employer's advice as a W-2 employee to apply for unemployment benefits. For the next 16 days, he kept checking the website and phoning the agency to find out if he needed to provide more information. All he was able to learn was that the agency was reporting he had unresolved issues. On Tuesday, Axelroth checked again online and saw that he still had unresolved issues, but they were no longer under review. He wasn't exactly sure what that meant, but he thought it was good news. Updates are probably non-existent, Axelroth said, adding that he and others have turned to trading information on Facebook pages and email threads. Tina Parsons, an independent contractor who helps build sets for movies and trade shows in New Orleans, said she was able to apply for unemployment benefits on Friday after over 2 weeks of trying. I tried online and it kept erroring me out, Parsons said. I had to go to the phone. The phone lines are down a lot. I couldn't get through. It's been frustrating. Especially uncertain now are independent contractors who file 1099 tax returns and self-employed people who list income on Schedule C of their tax returns. Nick Sorellis, a pedicab driver, was laid off on March 15th, but couldn't apply for unemployment insurance until passage of the federal stimulus bill. It extended benefits to so-called workers. Since the bill had passed, it doesn't seem that Louisiana has taken steps to allow us to apply, Sorrell said, but it's not clear because no one can contact laworks.net. Dijon said her agency had yet to receive federal guidelines on how to handle applications from independent contractors. Nonetheless, she said she can apply now even though they are not yet eligible because they could qualify in the coming weeks. Dijon says she doesn't know yet when the federal government will begin to disperse the additional 600 weekly payments to jobless workers. So we do not know that the money will be retroactive to the day when you were separated from your job, ceased to be employed, or suffered a decrease in wages, she said. She added that anyone who qualifies for unemployment insurance has to certify each Sunday afterward they will remain jobless or they will lose their benefits. Well, our time is basically up. I'm a few minutes beyond our usual time frame. I do have more stories that I wanted to read, but unfortunately we've kind of run out of times. I couldn't get to sports, but I do want to say that totally enjoyed reading you the news this morning and what I could get into the time frame. And continue listening. We're trying to do this every day from our at-home stations, our at-home coordinating efforts with AOC, with the staff and myself. We're happy to bring you the news as we have been doing for the last couple of years, Monday through Friday from 9 to 9:55, even though I'm a few minutes over today. I appreciate you listening. I'm going to try very hard to get the B&B show back next week. You will hear my voice again tomorrow morning, and I will try to get all the news I can fit into the time frame. Thank you for listening. Remember that if you are interested in becoming a reader, a volunteer reader for the AOC newspaper reading, Monday through Fridays, you can contact aocinc.org, fill out an application. Come on by, sit with us when we do get back into the studios. You can shadow myself or any other of the pro readers that we have, and hopefully you can do once a week, you can do once a month, or whatever your time schedule allows you. Right now we're all pretty free, so thank you again. I really appreciate it, and you all have a good morning. Stay safe. Practice all of the requirements that we're practicing, social distancing, wash your hands, take measures, stay at home, and please reach out to the ones that you love and to ones that your neighbors and people, and let's just encourage everyone to stay healthy, safe, and happy. Okay? You all have a good rest of the day, and we'll get back to you tomorrow. Thank you, and have a great day.